Yeah, let me show you something. See this building here? That's the old Pfizer's headquarters. They moved over to Hudson Yards, built a whole new building. See that? That's the Chrysler building. You see this? Everybody complains, right? But they don't really understand what's going on. So you got a whole block here where you got 2, 3, 4, 5 buildings with basically 3 of them sitting vacant and empty, boarded up. You can't have any housing. Why is that? Because of zoning. All of this was zoned for retail space, I don't know, before I was born, and I'm old. Like 1965 or so, 1955, where when you got first floor retail like this, the zoning doesn't allow housing above unless it was grandfathered in. So this is just one example on 43rd to 44th on 3rd Ave. I'm so New York, I could take you up to East Harlem right now, and you'll see the same thing for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blocks in East Harlem, where it's the exact same thing. Nothing but just boarded up buildings. That could be 40 units right here alone. And we're not even talking about if you demolish and rebuild, but guess what? Zoning issues, cost of materials and building, it doesn't make sense. So that's why you got stuff sitting here where, strangely enough, even though it sounds crazy, the plan is to reconfigure this office space as residential space. And this is why you gotta be patient, people, or get in where you fit in, because you don't understand what's going on. Look at this. If that one building is 40 units, that's 80. I don't know, maybe 200 units. Even if you assume, I don't know, let's say you made them all for sale. $1 million a unit, $1 million a door. That's 40 million. That's not even the cost to put up one building. So, and mind you, we're right up the block from the UN. So, you know, you could do a hotel. Definitely not going to do office space, right? Where best possible usage is probably a hotel right here. But then you got this new condo that went up. Well, those aren't the biggest windows, but, you know, people are going to be like, hey, you're blocking my view. I'm living over here. Forget about walking over here. I'm living over here. So, you know, I get it. Everybody wants to complain. Everybody wants to play victim. Look, I've been doing real estate in New York for 20 years. And I still don't know everything. But I know enough to know that that's a whole lot of dead space sitting there because of political bullshit with zoning issues. And as a city, we're getting better because they actually did rezone all along Park Avenue, north of 97th Street, so that you could get residential as long as you have retail on the first 3 floors. But these are issues that people don't understand, and everybody wants to act like they know so much, because now you can go on Street Easy, Street Greedy as I like to call it, and you know, you can get some AI to do some data here. Look, there's a development site for sale right here. But looking at it, that's probably a 50 by 100 foot lot at best. And guess what? If they already sold the air rights from the beer garden and the subway, well, what are you really putting there? So what can you really develop there? More retail usage. But now here's the other kicker. Everybody wants to Uber this, Grubhub that, DoorDash this, DoorDash that. People don't even want to come outside. People just want to have it delivered to them. So you can't have it both ways. Look, you got a whole retail space sitting here empty. Used to be a bank. So they're waiting for another bank to take over. And it's going to sit empty like this. And this is what happens. You end up with urban blight. Luckily, it's the middle of the day, so we don't have the riffraff camped out front. Now look, they're doing something here where there used to be a building there. And I said, because I saw it sitting empty, that's a development assemblage waiting to happen. But everybody swears they know so much because you got the internet, you got AI, you got this, you got that, you got this app, you got that app. There's a lot more going on beneath the surface. And that's why you need a local area expert to help you navigate all of this stuff. Look, I'm right across from 730. TIAA New Veens headquarters. Right? Look, Durst Organization's headquarters is here. Matter of fact, I did an event here for Eisner Amper, I believe it was. Yeah, Eisner Amper. See? You thought I was bullshitting. I did their Christmas party last year, casino night event. I was up literally right up here. They got a whole rooftop lounge for their corporate offices. It's beautiful. Foosball, ping pong table, the whole 9 yards. A whole pantry with snacks and sweets. And it's like people don't realize, you know. Come on. I can tell you ain't from around here. Where you from? Massachusetts. But yeah, you know, everybody's got a gripe. Everybody wants to complain. Look, this is where Castellano got shot, right? Sparks Steakhouse. Anyways, this is why you need a local area expert, because, you know, you can look at something on the surface and think, oh, it's easy. Nah, it's not that easy. I put in a lot of shoe leather. Look, I've been saving these shoes for a couple of years because that's how much shoe leather I put in on this. Over 20 years of pounding the pavement of these New York City streets. So, you know, I get it. Everybody wants to jet up like a 747. But then everybody's talking about global warming and climate change and how we need to ban jets. Well, how the fuck are you going to get where you want to go? Where are you going to drive? You can't drive across the fucking ocean. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Stop complaining. Find an expert. Have an honest, real conversation with an expert about what your needs are, and you'd be surprised. It might actually be right under your nose the whole time, and you're missing it because you're looking for something better. That's the age we live in now. Everybody's looking for something better or something more. But what if there is no more? What if that's the best you got? Opportunity only comes around, but so often. So when opportunity comes knocking, you better have your bags packed and waiting by the door, because you don't know when it's going to come knocking again. You heard? Look, Starbucks even left right here. So, anyways, I figured I'd give you a little man on the street, you know, the guy behind the mask, ASMR, over and out, like Einstein on a bike. You heard? Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco de mayo. Holla at your boy, you heard? There's another one from ASMR, the man on the street. I'm out like trout. You heard? One.